everybody. How is everybody doing? Hopefully, everybody can hear me okay. Welcome to episode 17 of the Eternal Abyss here. The Abyss. I'm your host, the Eternal Abyss. How's everybody doing tonight? How you doing, kids? I'm doing pretty good. I hope everyone had a great weekend, and I hope everyone had a good Monday. I know of 26 people that aren't having a great Monday. In New York City, in Manhattan, at Wall Street, there was a extinction protest, and I always find these extinction or climate protests very interesting, mostly because their whole argument is that they're trying to, we're going to dive right into the episode. I'm not really looking at other chats, so I want to welcome, first of all, actually, before I go into everything, let me just do this. Welcome everyone that's on YouTube, Periscope, DLive, Bitwave.tv. I think that's all the platforms I'm streaming on. If I'm forgetting one, just let me know. Yom Kippur is this week. Mazel Tov. Is that so? Troll F88A. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah. Hey, for our for those that celebrate that, hey, kudos to you folks. But yeah, the 26 people that are having a pretty bad Monday, I would say. So there was this protest in Manhattan. They poured fake blood all over the bull statue, the Bull of Wall Street statue. And apparently they were dancing on and doing all other sorts of vandalism and such. And 26 people got arrested. And I always find these sort of protests very interesting. The reason why I find these very interesting is because everybody claims, oh, we're fighting for the environment. We're fighting to stop extinction. We're fighting for, to combat climate change. Yet, they throw all this garbage on the ground. They use fake blood, whatever coloring is in that. Let's just make that filter into the ground, right? That's not a problem. Then on top of that, the city of New York has to clean that crap up. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to use soap and water and whatever to scrub all this crap off. Because they can't have everything tinted red. So now you got extra chemicals being used. Climate change. Let's fight climate change. It's ridiculous. This is how stupid these people are. And I challenge any one of these protests to try and argue that that's a good thing for them to do. And the other question that I would have for them actually is, I want to know exactly what sort of impact this sort of protest would do. Besides, it raises awareness. Okay. It raises awareness of what? Of your stupidity? Of how you really don't care about the environment because you're actually polluting the environment while you're doing these sort of protests? Is that how you raise awareness? Just a question. So who knows? Who knows if I'm ever going to get an answer to that? It's a query. Other things that are in the news that I wanted to talk about. One of the big things right now. This happened today, if I'm not mistaken. Late Sunday night. Late Sunday night, there was some breaking news about the Trump admin that they're pulling out of the border between Turkey and Syria. And of course, all hell breaks loose. And it's all full of fake news. And it's all full of twisted and spin. This is what's going on. There's about 50 to 100 troops on the border between Turkey and Syria. And Trump is keeping his promises. As he promised, he was going to be pulling out of needless wars, keeping our soldiers there for no good reason. When it's only 50 to 100 soldiers on that border saying Turkey can take care of it themselves. And the ISIS people that get captured, they can handle it. We don't need to be there and micromanage everything, right? And on top of that, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, a lot of the people on the left are saying that Trump has betrayed the Kurds, one of our strongest allies in the Middle East." Honestly, I don't even remember the Kurds really doing a whole lot for us, but let's not get into that whole argument at this point because I don't want to dive that deeply into the Middle East conflicts and its histories and all that kind of nonsense. Yes, the neocons. The neocons are definitely reeing over it. Yep. And there's definitely the spin. You're correct, Troll. The whole spin was Turkey's going to invade Syria, which is not even the case. It's ridiculous. First of all, it's not an invasion. If it's a border conflict between Turkey and Syria and the people that are crossing over from Syria into Turkey, Turkey has every right to defend their borders. Do they not? Also, everybody's saying that Turkey is our enemy. Turkey is not our friend. All this kind of stuff. Well, that may be true, but Turkey is a NATO ally. If someone invades Turkey as part of NATO, that we are part of NATO, we would have to go and help defend Turkey. Does nobody think about this on the left? Like, at all? Does nobody think about this sort of nonsense? Is it just me? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But it's ridiculous. This whole situation is ridiculous. Trump is keeping his promise. He made a promise in the campaign that he would be pulling out of all these kind of conflicts if it was wise to do so. And he is. And the difference is he's doing it in a wise way. Because he's telling Turkey, don't pull any stupid crap or you're going to get sanctions or we're going to come back and just blast the hell out of everybody. He's not just pulling out and creating this void like Obama did. Obama pulled out thousands of troops, leaving a void which was the perfect storm for ISIS to come in and take over and become what it was. Now ISIS is at their last little stretch of territory, tiny little piece of land that they're trying to protect and defend. Of occupied territory, because it's not even their territory, it's occupied territory, and they're soon to be obliterated. So kudos to Trump for doing what he said he was going to do. I know that for politicians, this is a novel concept, actually making a promise and actually following through on it. It's something that's foreign to them. I do understand that. I don't know about that neat for life. Who knows? I don't know what involvement that Turkey has with that sort of thing with ISIS, if any. So I'm not going to make any sort of commentary on that. The only commentary that I can make on this is that was a promise that Trump made, and it was something that he made during the campaigning. And he said that he was going to do that. And he's doing it in a responsible way. He's not just leaving Turkey to its own devices. He's going to be monitoring the situation. The administration is going to be monitoring the situation. So it makes sense to do it in a responsible way. I did a tweet shortly after this whole nonsense came about of the left going crazy about that. And I said, and I repeat that now in person as I'm speaking, that in general, I am for involvement in conflict where that makes sense for our country to be involved in. And I'm also for not being in conflict if it doesn't make sense for us to be there. And I'm also for getting out of conflict if it doesn't make sense for us to be in this conflict, but also get out of a conflict in a responsible manner to not create more damage. So please excuse the sniffling, by the way. My allergies, I have allergies. My allergies drive me crazy. So I may be sniffling a little bit during this entire stream. And I may sound a little nasally. Fall weather. So the other thing that happened just recently is that Ilhan Omar announced her divorce from her brother, which I think was from her brother or from her husband, current husband, even though she never divorced her brother or whatever. I mean, her whole situation is completely messed up. The funniest part of this whole thing is that she's blaming the media for destroying her marriage. Like, last I checked, the media didn't tell her to open her legs and cheat on her husband. Last I checked. I mean, if anybody has any articles that instructed Ilhan Omar to spread her legs open and commit adultery, please send it my way, because I'm not aware of any media articles and TV shows or anything that were saying, hey, hey, Miss Racist, homophobe, anti-Semite, anti-American, domestic terrorist, go and open your legs. I don't recall anybody saying that. Maybe it's just me again. Should have used prep. What do you mean prep? Easy Oven Operator says should have used prep. Like for the allergies, you mean? I tried. I took some allergy medicine, but it doesn't seem to do a whole lot. So there's only so much that allergy medicine can do. No. So, moving on, though, I mean, that was just a little blurb that I wanted to talk about because that all happened. Those three things happened like within the span of 24 hours. The Trump thing, the protest, and Ilhan Omar. And it still amazes me that this person still has a seat. Hopefully, when the 2020 election comes around and her seat is up, because that's if I'm not mistaken, her seat is up. Hopefully, someone will oust her. And speaking of people that should be removed from their seats in the House of Representatives, Rashida Tlaib, this piece of work. Just demonstrated again how racist she is. And she is a racist. And I would even invite her directly to address this if she wants. Though I'm a nobody in her eyes. I'm not a constituent. So it probably doesn't even matter to her if a streamer like myself says things about her. But she was in the Detroit Police Department looking at facial recognition stuff, and she made a comment about how only black people should be using the facial recognition stuff in Detroit because apparently white people think black people all look alike, all look the same. So the Detroit police, I think he was a chief, mentioned to her, as he should, that he trusts the training of the police officers, that it's not a matter of race or gender or orientation. And he's absolutely right. The fact that she brings this garbage up just shows you that she is a racist. Pure and simple. Rashida Tlaib, you are a racist. If you want to challenge me on that, I'm more than happy to have a debate with you about it. But you've demonstrated over and over and over again that you're a racist. Simple. There's nothing. There's nothing that you have done that would prove to me that you are otherwise. Nothing more, nothing less. So I have nothing more to say about that, really. Because, what else is there to say? She pretty much made it obvious. She's making it obvious over and over and over again. She's unfit for her position, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that the people in Michigan have elected her as a representative in the House of Representatives. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And speaking of other, interesting things happening, the last two streams I talked a little bit about the impeachment that is happening. Well, it's not even an impeachment that's happening. It's a impeachment inquiry The House voted twice to try and impeach, twice or three, I think 3 times actually, to impeach President Donald J. Trump. And both or 3 times they failed. And they're doing this whole impeachment inquiry now, and they're using whistleblowers' status and titles to protect people and to create this charade. They're going to create this charade, and mark my words, they're going to extend this all the way. They're going to have this impeachment inquiry hanging over the election because they are trying to use that to take down Donald Trump so he loses the election, or they remove him. Because if they convince enough people, this is like a battle of attrition. After so much time, if they manage to convince people to give them the votes, at least in the House, they'll be able to initiate this whole impeachment thing, sort of, at least on the House. They would pass it there. But the problem is this. If they do that, they give subpoena power to the Republicans, which means that the Republicans get to interview and get to do a bunch of stuff too, which would hamper them. It would be a wrench in their gears. So they're not. I don't think the Democrats are interested in that. I think what they're interested in doing is just prolonging this as much as possible, milking it for as much as possible. They did the Russian collusion thing for 2.5 years, nearly 3 years, 2.5 years, $40 million. They don't care. Democrats and liberals do not care. They will keep using millions upon millions of dollars of taxpayer money, and they will drag this out. And I'm sure they plan on dragging this out even beyond 2020 if Trump wins, which all indications show that there's a pretty damn good chance that he's going to win. The Democrats are slowly crumbling and falling apart. All of the candidates. Biden has been under an immense amount of pressure, and his polls just nosedived. I mean, big time. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So it's sorry, I was just reading what Easy Oven operators reading. PrEP is a medicine that's supposed to prevent HIV spread during homosexual sex. Well, I don't see why I would need that, sir. My problem is allergies. That's not the problem that that I have. Yeah, you might want to talk to some other people, like Kitty Styles. He's admitted to that sort of activity, not myself. So I don't engage in that sort of thing. So I think I'm good. Just saying. That's not something that I'm going to have to deal with. Let's just put it that way. But going back to the whole impeachment thing, the reason why I bring this whole thing up is because you have people that are very much voicing their displeasure with this whole impeachment thing. And there was this clip, and I can see if I can find it. There was this clip of Elizabeth Warren. Let's see if I can bring it up here. Elizabeth Warren. Let's see. Some people are saying that she was ambushed. I guess you can call it that, being that she was ambushed in a way, but let's see. Is this the video? Let me take a look. No. That's just advertisement for a t-shirt. Dang it. Let's see now. Nobody's showing the video here. Crap. I mean, it's a pretty hilarious video if you take a look at it, because she's just she's frozen. Like, she's walking quickly and frozen and doesn't even know how to react. And all she do is she has a stupid dumbass grin on her face because she doesn't know how to react to this whole situation. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube, maybe. Oh, here we go. I think I found it. Yes. Yes. Okay. And that's not working. All right, let's try this. Nope. Hold up. Stand by. I think I got this almost situated. Okay. Here we go. I got it up now. So watch this. Let's watch this for a moment. Let me make sure that I have the volume turned on here. Oh, did I greet people on DLive? I don't think I greeted people on DLive. Hey, people on DLive. While I'm getting this situated here, by the way, if you want to support small streamers so I don't have to do all this myself and I can actually have someone assist me, you can donate to streamlabs.com/theeternalabyss. Any support is appreciated. We're being silenced by big tech. We need your support. Support conservative talk, conservative small creators and small streamers. We need your help. So here we go. Back to Warren. Listen to this. This is pretty damn funny. Can you hear the audio? I'm not sure if you can hear the audio. I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Bitwave chat. Can you guys hear the audio? Okay. I'm for some reason I'm convinced that you guys couldn't hear the audio. Let me try one more time. One more thing here. Hold up. Was that why? There we go. All right, you guys get the idea of what's going on here. I love that song when he goes, Pocahontas. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, so we that's what happened with Elizabeth Warren. Thank you, Neat. Thank you. I got the technical difficulties sorted out. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't want sort of ridiculous impeachment thing to go forward. Everybody knows it's a political hit job. Everybody knows it's baloney. Everybody knows that it's just Democrats not wanting to face Trump in 2020 because they know they're going to get spanked. They know it. They know it. It's what it is. They're not going to win. Traditionally, first of all, it's very difficult to get out an incumbent unless that one-term president has been doing a very, very bad job. Or your opponent is Mitt Romney and he does a terrible, terrible job campaigning. And he lets the incumbent win. When that was totally winnable. Obama did not have a lot of support after his first term. And Mitt Romney really messed it up. Absolutely messed it up. He should have won, and he screwed it up completely. But yeah, that's what happened. Another thing that happened that I really want to talk about is this master troll. This girl deserves a freaking Oscar, a medal, any prize. You want to throw a prize at her, just give her any prize. This has got to be one of the funniest damn things I've ever seen in my life. And let me see if I can find the video clip of this because it is glorious. There was this town hall meeting, all right, with the stupidest person on this planet, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And let's see here. This is. Hold up. All right. Let me put this up here because this is just too good. This is too good. You guys got to see this. I'm sure just about everybody has at this point.
Oh, I'm so excited. We're getting a chair today. Ooh,
the advertisement. Okay. All right. 1 second here. Let me prep this. Okay. So let me bring this over here. Make sure that my audio is set up. And let's revel in the glory of this because this is so good. This troll. It turns out that she's a troll. I thought at first a lot of people thought this was legit, though some people had called it a troll from the very beginning. I was on the fence because I wasn't sure, and it turned out it was a troll. But even if it wasn't a troll, well, let's listen to it first. If on the off chance you're one of the few people that have not heard it.
Support the Green Deal, but it's not getting rid of fossil fuel. It's not going to solve the problem fast enough. A Swedish professor saying, we can eat dead people, but that's not fast enough. So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time. There's too much CO2.
Not enough time.
All of you're a pollutant. Too much CO2. We have to start now, please. You are so great. I'm so happy that you're really supporting the Green Deal, but it's not enough. Even if we would bomb Russia, we still have too many people, too much pollution. So we have to get rid of the babies. That's a big problem. Just stopping having babies is not enough. We need to eat the babies, and this is very serious. Please give a response.
Thank you. No, thank you. We'll go ahead. Okay. No, we'll go ahead. It's so no. Yeah, no. Thank you. So I think yeah, no. So one of the things that's very important to us is that we need to treat the climate crisis with the urgency that it does present. Luckily, we have more than a few months. We do need to hit net zero in several years. But I think we all need to understand that there are a lot of solutions that we have, and that we can pursue, and that if we act in a positive way, there's space for hope. We are never beyond hope. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, this is just fantastic. So let's recap very briefly here. The thing that stood out for me about this whole thing wasn't so much the fact that this person apparently seemed like a lunatic supporter. You know, one the biggest thing was that this person seemed like a legitimate supporter. Her supporters have been so extreme and crazy, and her own rhetoric has been so extreme and crazy that when you hear something like that, your first reaction is, oh, hey, you know what? This is possible. This is absolutely possible that this person actually supports this, who supports AOC. Which tells you a lot about who her supporters are and what kind of policies she's pushing forward. You know? The second thing is, regardless of whether she's a legitimate supporter or a troll, which a group took responsibility saying that they are the ones that sent this person there, that she is a troll. So I'm just going to go with that and say, okay, fine, she's a troll. No biggie. All right, whatever. She didn't condemn it. AOC didn't condemn it, saying, no. Let's not, that's a bridge too far. That's a line that we don't necessarily have to cross. She tried to sugarcoat it in a way. She tried to veneer it and, the crisis that we have a little bit of time. There's still hope. Which is kind of funny because all the rhetoric that's been coming out of her and other socialists like her and other climate insane people like her and Greta Thunberg, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Thunberg? I don't know. They've been talking about extreme situations with no hope in sight. I mean, if you look at the video that I did in a couple streams ago with Greta Thunberg or however her name's pronounced, she was talking about mass extinctions happening, entire ecosystems are collapsing. She's talking about how her hopes and dreams are being destroyed. How dare you? Yeah. That's what she was saying. So now all of a sudden she twists, she pivots, going, oh, no, there's always hope. The situation is never hopeless. Well, which one is it, AOC? If you're selling a product, which that's what you're doing, you're trying to sell this new Green New Deal, you're trying to sell your policies as something that is required. You can't say on one hand everything is in crisis and our whole planet is about to burst into flames and we're going to be running down the street with our hair on fire. But at the other side say, but it's all good. It's all okay. No big deal. It doesn't quite work that way, stupid girl. It doesn't work that way. You either tell the truth about what's going on, or you keep peddling your lies. And if you're going to peddle lies, let me give you a suggestion here. Be consistent. You can't be believable if you're not consistent. That's really what it boils down to. So that's the only suggestion I'm going to ever offer her, besides just telling her how stupid she is and correcting her, which if you navigate Twitter at all on her profile, you're going to be doing that a lot. Oh, good Lord. Yeah. You're going to be doing that quite a lot with her. everything she says is always inaccurate. It's either inaccurate, patently false, straight out lying, or spinning things in a way just for her own political purposes. It's pretty ridiculous. It is very, very bad. One last thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of the biggest topic of du jour, let's say, because it's been going on for a couple days now. Everybody's talking about the Joker movie. Big deal. Let me see if I can get a nice proper visual going on for this. Hold up. Let me get rid of that. Now, I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not really going to comment on the movie per se. Hold up here. Let me get a nice image. One second here. So like I said, I haven't seen the movie. When I heard about this movie, let me give you a little bit of background before I dive into my take on the whole thing. I had heard about this movie, and here we go. I had a couple thoughts about it because I've always been a bit of a comic book fan. I mean, I haven't been one of those guys that religiously collect and religiously read. And, the Joker for a while was a character that I always found to be very, very, very interesting. For different reasons. I mean, he's not a character that you can necessarily relate to or per se. I mean, in the sense that he's likable in the sense of how chaotic and out of the norm that character is. He is the antithesis to Batman in the comics. And for those that maybe are not too familiar with the whole comics, I'm not going to go into the whole history of that because I'm not going to do it justice anyways. Because I'm not a comic book nerd. I really don't know all the ins and outs, ups and downs, left and right of the entire character. But there are a few things that I do know about the character, and for the longest time, the character just existed. There wasn't any sort of real backstory to him. There wasn't any real connection between him and Batman, besides the fact that he was just the antithesis, as I mentioned, to Batman. He was the opposite. He was the yang to the Batman yin, and it was an interesting dynamic for a very long time. And in the movies and in other mediums, they ended up, changing a couple things, making it more elaborate, diving deeper into the character. And in the comic, you also had a backstory eventually because everybody wanted to know, where did this Joker come from? And that's where things to me kind of fell apart. And this is why. This is something that I've noticed, and this isn't only, this isn't unique to DC Comics. This isn't unique to the Joker, per se. This is something that I've noticed for a period of time now, easily in the media of comics, in video games, in movies, cartoons, what have you, whatever medium is used to portray a story in any way, where you have a good and an evil. You had in the past, it was pretty clear cut. In the past, it was pretty clear cut if you were looking at a good character or you're looking at an evil character. There weren't a lot of variations. There weren't a lot of gray areas. Or at least you didn't have what I call the justified villain. Now, this is a kind of a trope, I suppose, that's been coming up more and more and more and more and more. And it's essentially taking away the evilness of a character by saying this character is a victim. He too is a victim of whatever it may be: society, government, abusive home, abusive parents, etc., etc. So this is something that, even though I haven't seen the movie, just the previews and also what I already know about the backstory of the Joker from comics and what have you, that was my biggest fear going into this movie, and I haven't seen it yet, and I do intend to see it so I can actually, maybe I can do a whole special movie review about it and kind of give my own take little by little, because right now I'm kind of speculating on a few things. I've purposefully not seen it. I purposely have ignored reviews. I purposely have ignored everything. But I have noticed a couple of things that have been bubbling up in the news about it. And before I get into that, just really briefly to complete the point that I was making before, because I've noticed this trend that, especially with Disney, but a lot of studios and a lot of animations and a lot of comics, they're trying to blur the lines between what is good and what is evil. And I think that there's a specific reason for that, because they want to make morality relativistic within those worlds, which is also something that I've noticed in academia. In academia, they're always trying to justify behaviors by saying what is right, what is wrong, what is morality. Is there any sort of thing as arbitrary morality? Is there really a right and really a wrong, or is it all just my truth and your truth and the other dude's truth? Nothing objective anymore. Nothing that people can agree on, which is a big problem, because when you're talking about public discourse, especially in politics, you have to have a foundation. That was one of the beautiful things about our founding documents and our founding fathers. They had a foundation, a common set of values, where they said, you know what, we all agree on these things. We all agree that people have rights. We all agree that they are God-given. We all agree that people should be able to say whatever they want to say. We all agree that people should be able to defend themselves. We should all agree that the government should be representative. We all agree that government should not be this ultimate power without any checks and balances. There may have been differences in how to implement all these things, but the foundation was there. The foundation to build upon was there. The common set of values that held together the government and the country, a budding country, was there. So this then comes back to, to this movie. What are the common sets that everybody agrees on and disagrees on? Honestly, at this point, I don't know, because there's so much out. I mean, there's so many people saying so many different things. You have people on the left saying they absolutely hate this movie because it's a justification of white violence, and that all the bad people in this movie were black, apparently black women. I have no idea. Again, I haven't seen it. This is what I'm hearing. You have Tim Pool saying, Joker is essentially the king of the Occupy Wall Street people, and all his followers are Antifa. Okay, that's an interesting take, which makes you not really want to go see the movie. Then you have Rotten Tomatoes, which has like an over 90% audience score, so everybody's really loving the movie, it seems. Yet the critics are panning it because they're all leftists, and they have their issues with it because it doesn't fit well in the SJW checklist of, this movie shouldn't, white guy's the victim. Please. So there's a lot of these things that have been bubbling up in the news, and what I've been interested though, and it's been breaking records too, and the thing that I'm interested in when seeing this movie is honestly to see if my initial impression of this relativistic morality push that has existed in a lot of different movies, if they're gonna do this for that too, if they're gonna make the Joker a victim that you're supposed to sympathize with, which most likely they did. But the funniest part of this whole thing. Oh, yeah, another thing I just remembered. A lot of people are complaining about the sheer amount of gun violence in the movie, which is another thing that the SJWs are really freaking hating about this movie. They're saying it's much too much gun violence. Very, very bad. Well, okay. Honestly, I don't really care about violence in movies or video games or any, I don't see a problem with it because violence in these mediums do not cause anything. Someone that does not have a tendency to act out when seeing something violent will not all of a sudden become violent or desensitized to it to a point where he will become violent. Someone who's already violent in their tendencies will have a tendency to be attracted to violent things. And even if you eliminate all the violent things, they're still going to be attracted to that sort of thing because that's who they are. And they're going to express it in different ways. There's a lot of commonality in people that are serial killers, for example. People that are psychopaths, they will hurt animals before hurting people. Like as they're growing up, for example. That's something that's very common. When psychopaths are being profiled. That's a very common thing. So, my suggestion when it comes to the Joker movie is, you know what? Just go and see it. Go and see it. Don't listen to what other people say. Don't even listen to me, per se. I would say go there and make up your own mind. Tell me what you think. You can follow me on Twitter, The Eternal Abyss with one S. And, let me know. Tweet and at me and see, and I'll go watch it and we'll see if we agree or disagree, I'm curious to see what some people say, if anybody says anything. And we'll see where most people stand because it seems like most people are liking the movie, People are watching it. People are going there. It's broken records. It is very popular, and a lot of people are saying that he's done a really good job in acting the role. So I'm curious to see it, frankly, and I think that that all this propaganda from the left saying, "Oh, it's terrible. There's risk of people getting shot up when at opening night, like the Batman movies are." Or, oh, there's too much gun violence in the movie. Or, oh, it's a justification of white violence, blah, 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 blah. All that is backfiring. All that is doing is making people want to go see it. And then when they see it, they're seeing, yeah, this is what these people have been pushing is kind of nonsense. So, yeah, I would say go see it for yourselves. Make up your own minds. Don't listen to the propagandizing of the left. And don't even listen to the right in this case. I say go see it. Make up your own mind. If you think it's a good movie, it's a good movie. If you don't think it's a good movie, then, judge it on its own merits. But from what I hear, it does have some pro-conservative messages in there. So that's also another interesting thing because there's so much injection of leftist politics in the media now that it's difficult to kind of filter that out. There's a lot of shows that I don't watch and a lot of movies that I just don't watch because either the actors themselves are very, very, very politically engaged. And I talked about this in my last stream where I don't like it when actors and singers do that because they're the court jesters. They're like I mentioned in my last stream, they're the ones that are supposed to entertain us. They're the ones that are supposed to provide the escapism. I don't go and watch a movie because I want to hear their political opinion, and it's not even political opinion. This is the thing that bothers me a lot about what actors and singers do. It's a propagandizing, and it's an insulting, saying you don't agree with me and this little group of vocal people. You are evil. You are Nazis. You are racist. You are xenophobes. You are homophobes. You are sexist. All this nonsense. Just because we have a political difference. Now, if you wanted to really be inclusive, like some of these singers say, we're all about love, we're all about inclusivity. Well, how about, here's a novel concept. How about saying, hey, you know what? I am for this political stance. You are for the opposite of this political stance. But you know what? We're all in this together. Let's enjoy this moment. Forget about our differences and come together as people. As Americans, for example. What is wrong with that? It's still recognizing the political differences that we may or may not have. And still recognizing that I may not agree with you, you may not agree with me. But we're all here. I paid for a ticket just like the other dude did. If I'm at a concert, for example, or if I'm at a movie. Why should I be insulted and spat upon just because I have a political difference? You know? But these people, they're insane. These people are insane and they don't get it. They don't get it that they are there to entertain us. They don't get it that we pay for their salary. We pay for their Mercedes and mansions and all sorts of stuff. We pay for everything. And if we don't go see the movies or we don't go see the sports events or we don't go see the concerts, guess what? You're losing a lot of money, which has already happened. Leftist media, there's this whole thing about go woke and go broke. It's true. A lot of the media on the left, they are losing a lot of money. CNN is losing a lot of viewership. Football, the NFL, good Lord, the NFL's viewership dropped so much, it tanked horribly. They're at an all-time low. And it's because they brought it upon themselves. So, with that, I would say, I think I'm going to bring this stream to a conclusion. It's going to be kind of a shorter one than my usual. It's been a long week, last week and weekend. So, I didn't really have a whole lot of stuff here prepared. But I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. And all of you on D-Live, I want to thank you. All of you on Periscope, YouTube, bitwave.tv. I want to thank you very, very much. Again, if you want to support small streamers and creators like myself, feel free. It's very much appreciated. Streamlabs.com/theeternalabyss. Any amount however generous you feel, is greatly appreciated. And with that, I want to wish everyone a wonderful night. And I hope that everyone has a great rest of your week. Thank you for watching. Bye, kids.